with Paul Daner, Mark Shalafoo, from listener questions to some running gags. Insider stories, ambush line, that dad life and respect for flags. Kick off the weekend, all right? It's the Growler Friday Show. It's Who Dey Night.
All right, welcome into the latest edition of Not Who Dey Light. It is Who Dey Night here at the Growler. Paul Daner Jr. here with you. Good to have everybody hanging out with us live. Training camp has started. Jay, you were complimented for your tan today by Elizabeth Blackburn, and I think she's in the right place. Look, it is. Yeah. It's been shining. It's been notable. You're really putting all of us to shame. Good to see you in all your tan glory here.
Yeah, irresponsibility has its perks. You know, I have not been putting sunscreen on the last couple of days. I've been rushed so much, and I forgot to put it on. But yeah, it was nice to hear that from her. It was very kind. It was
very kind. Charlie, how we doing?
You know, we've discussed before, like things aren't me, like sunglasses, umbrellas, like metal cups, like sunscreen's one of those things for me. I'm not a sunscreen guy. It just doesn't work for me. So I don't use sunscreen.
What do you mean it doesn't work?
How does it not work?
He doesn't believe in the science. Let's let him just go on this for a while.
Either I don't burn or it's so hot that I'll burn anyway. I feel like whenever I've used sunscreen, I haven't received the result I was intending, so I just gave up.
Mrs. Goldsmith is so mad right now. Yeah. See, like I've been telling him his whole life, you got to put the sunscreen on. It does work. There is real science here, Charlie. Yet here you are pronouncing to everyone, sunscreen. It's all a ruse. None of it's real.
For me.
For you, of course. Mark, how are you doing?
I'm just glad I survived today. I went down there and braved the heat. I put on a little bit of sunscreen. I didn't go overboard. My problem was it was just like so early in the morning. I just wasn't conditioned to that. But even after being in the Orlando sun for 5 days earlier this summer, I think today was still significantly hotter being at that practice.
That was as much as I've sweated at a training camp. I felt so bad for everyone that was in the stands out there. There's just no cover, and it was just absolutely baking. People were going down. Miles Murphy needed an IV. Josh Newton threw up.
Twice.
It was substantial.
It was. It was a lot.
Not a little bit.
It was a big breakfast.
Yeah. and what T was getting stretched out. Everybody's okay. All names mentioned are fine, okay. But it was that kind of day where people just go down. A little fight at the end because everyone's just hot and over it. Yeah. It was just kind of one of those.
Yeah, it was a hot one for sure.
Hot in the
almost
stands.
a fight behind
there was
us.
a fight in the stands.
I know that was bad. Yeah.
Wait, where was the
really
fight in the
bad.
stands? It wasn't
About
between
50.
me and my wife, so that's not was it really a fight?
Almost.
Go for it, Jay.
The guy was being really annoying anyhow, but then on the long bomb to T for the touchdown, he yelled, "Defense, don't let the guys get behind you. You see what happens when they get behind you. You're effing toast." And guys were like, whoa, 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 there's kids around. He didn't say effing. He said the word. And he says, oh, they're going to hear cussing throughout their life everywhere. He's like, it's no big deal. They're like, no, it is a big deal. And then this guy wanted to fight the guys that were challenging him. And luckily security came over and said, okay, time for you to go, buddy.
Quick tangent. Before this, the guy was talking about how like Troy Aikman was overrated, and then he was talking about Browning, but what's his name, and he didn't know Jake Browning's name, and the Daniel from Washington. No, it's Jaden Daniels. Like, yeah, that's where this guy was pre-fight, and then he got
he also allowed that Joe Montana was really good.
Wow,
oh, that's it.
We need to get this guy a podcast.
He probably already has one, Mark. Everyone does. Everyone does. I just enjoyed the fact that the words "do you want to take this outside" were uttered when we were all very outside.
Yes.
It was pretty much unnecessary to say that. All right, we didn't come here to regale with more stories of fights from today's training camp. We do have some things that we want to get into. We want to talk about. Each of us are going to have kind of our favorite story of the week we're going to go through. We want to thank everybody that is here watching. See all of you, whether you're on X or watching, make sure you subscribe to the YouTube channel so you can be getting the alerts whenever Jay and I put up our daily camp recaps. We didn't do one today because we were doing the big show. We had the big show tonight for you. So, but make sure you are hooked up on our YouTube channel as we go through everything from training camp and tell you what we've been seeing out there. We're going to have I got a really good run passer boot that we're going to have a prop for. I'm excited about that. Very rudimentary props, but props nonetheless. If you have questions, if you have something that you want us to talk about, a topic you feel like you want to hear more about, drop them into the chat. Mark will be monitoring and picking out the best or the ones that make us most uncomfortable, whichever comes first. And we'll go through that when we get into questions a little bit later here. So all of that coming your way. I do, if you didn't see Jamar Chase talking about our good friend Mike Petralia's banana hat and shirt today, we're going to have a little bit of that video. And I have a follow-up question that I am really mad that we didn't ask Jamar Chase about that we will get into later. Let me start with this. I do want to remind everybody, don't forget, all our live shows are back again this year. We do them before most home games down at BetMGM, and now partners with Tom's Watch Bar down at BetMGM. We're down there before games doing live shows, giving stuff away. We are giving away tickets to a game at every single live show we do this year. We're going to have the season kickoff show we always do. We'll be there before the opener. You know how it goes. We have a blast down there. There's ice cream. We don't know what the status. We haven't looked into Tom's Watch Bar's cookie situation, Charlie. I hope you're prepared for this. We're hoping there's going to be some. Are you willing to give them a chance?
So actually today I was ready to walk in and see what was going on, but it said food and drink not available until I believe tomorrow, July 24th.
Yeah,
so you couldn't enter the restaurant today.
Right now.
But so very soon I will be meeting our new friends and learning about new foods.
Today's the 24th.
Yes.
Fifth.
Well, whenever.
He doesn't believe in
opening
calendars either. So
no, calendars and sunscreen off the table. All right, but we're down there, so make sure you come on down. But before you do that, make sure that you sign up for BetMGM. Use the bonus code Growler in all caps, and you can get up to $1,500 first bet offer on your first wager with BetMGM. You download the app, you use the bonus code, deposit at least $10, and place your first wager on any game. You will receive the same bet amount up to $1,500 in a bonus bet if your bet loses. So just make sure you got the bonus code Growler in there when you sign up. So go get that $1,500 first bet offer today. Here's what we're going to do. Let's start this off. Favorite story of the week. Charlie, I'll let you kick it off. It can be anything you want. You take this any direction you want to go. Favorite Bengals story of the week right now.
Favorite story of the week is, I'll start with the anecdote and then I'll get to the post anecdote. The anecdote is, you know what I call day one of camp, the most physical, non-padded practice of Zach Taylor's tenure managing the Bengals. Guys were hitting each other. There were tackling drills and individual drills where they were making real contact against each other. Then, of course, they went to team, and was it taken too far? Probably, maybe even definitely. But there was a youthful exuberance that I think you're seeing this defense try to establish. Now, does that mean they're good? Who knows? And I've set a rule that I actually can't say this defense is good or even okay until October. I'm giving myself that deadline. But the youthful exuberance is a good place to start for a unit that hadn't had a win, really didn't really have any wins last season when you look at the backup quarterbacks they were facing, and has to build its confidence starting somewhere. So I tweeted yesterday that, the most physical non-padded practice I've seen. I wrote about it. And then today someone said to me like, heck yeah, it was the most physical non-padded practice you've seen during Zach Taylor's tenure. So there was some excitement about that physicality too, even if maybe it crossed the line on a few plays.
It definitely crossed the line on a few plays, especially to 11. I mean, the guys were going to the ground, and you just don't see that very often. And it was guys that are, I can't remember which safety it was. It was one of the back of the roster safeties, and he did it 2 plays in a row. I'm sure there was a talking to, and Geno Stone even talked about it in the locker room afterward, that you do need to talk to those guys, and you're out here he's like, I could have made contact with was it Gesicki? You were there, I think, Charlie, when he was talking about that. He said, I'm not trying to we need that guy in week 10. I'm not trying to make any statements on day one.
PJ Jules was the one who was a hit and then like a stand over the guy again in a non-padded practice. I think everyone was like, okay, that's not kind of what we're going here. That what was it? Nobody needs nobody wants to be 7-on-7 champs out here.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? There's physicality, and then there's just like, okay, you're kind of just being an ass, right? Jay, what do you got?
I'll kind of stay with that theme with the defense. It started Monday at Mock Turtle Soup, and I wanted to flesh it out yesterday and write about it. And it was Al Golden talking about how Joe Burrow went in and watched film with the defense, and it went in a direction I never expected it to, because I asked Joe about it in his news conference, and when the locker room opened up, I went in and asked one of the DBs about it, and he said, oh no, that was all Fig. You got to talk to Fig. He gets all the credit. So I'm thinking, okay, Josh Newton, Fig, was the one that set it up. And I go to talk to Josh, and we talked about this on the walkout yesterday, but he's like, who told you that? And I was like, well, Joe talked about it, Al Golden talked about it, and it turns out that Josh Newton just went up to Burrow and said, hey, I would you be willing to watch film with me? And you'll hear in this clip I'm about to play, he didn't just say, will you watch film with me? He told him specifically what he wanted to go over. And it was Josh Newton, who, he played about 40% of the snaps last year, but he's year 2. He's a young guy. It's a little ballsy to go up to a player like Joe Burrow and say, hey, can I have a couple hours of your time, your free time to do this? And then Muma Njongmeta, it was an undrafted free agent linebacker last year. It was just those two sitting in a room with Burrow going over plays. Here's a little piece of my conversation. I don't know if I can I pull this up?
I got you.
I mean, you've proved you belong, but it is year 2 in the league. He's one of the elite. Were you reluctant at all to approach him and ask him to do something like that?
Man, look here. If you want to be great, you got to approach the greats. You can't tiptoe. That's when they don't respect you. If you come in at Joe, knowing what you need from Joe, they're like, hey, Joe, can we sit and watch film? Nah, it's Joe, can we sit and watch film about this, about that? Be specific, be direct, because he don't got time to waste. So approach a guy like that, you just got to know what you want, and you know what I'm saying, just ask them for exactly what you want, and then leave it alone.
Do you say thank you after that, or
yeah, right? And eventually, as time goes on, I ask him again. You want to, you know what I'm saying? You want to keep going? Yeah. And I'm pretty sure he not gonna say no. He ain't gonna tell me no.
I love that. You can't tiptoe. I love that.
Yeah.
Josh Newton, man, he's a real one.
He is.
When it comes to person, he is exactly what you want out of a player, personality wise. Everything about him.
Someone told me that if Newton really can cover, he could be a captain this year, because if he earns that role and he shows he can play and he earns kind of that credibility just in man coverage, which is the final piece for him, he's got the rest of the stuff. And you can just feel that. I swear, he gave me a fist bump today. I mean, I'm a sturdy guy. He blew my knuckles off, but that's just who he is. And that's part of the infectious personality. That is a true story, that the fist bump did hurt from Josh Newton.
Charlie and I were talking about that at practice. I was like, he gave me a hug after I talked to him. I said, all right, thanks for your time. And he's like, no, thank you. And he pulled me in for a bro hug pretty tight. And Charlie's like, he hugged me once.
It's true.
And now he's breaking.
You don't get a lot of locker room hugs. There's just
right.
If people are thinking doesn't that happen after every interview? It really does.
Very rare.
Really
Joe Mixon wasn't throwing out hugs everywhere.
No, that's not what I would have said was happening there. No. Mark, do you have something that you've been enjoying following this week?
I mean, today was my first time at the morning training camp practice, and I would have to say my favorite thing was just the cold towels that they were giving out to fans as you walked in. That was huge.
Oh,
but also
great.
Just the way that today felt like last season to me in a lot of ways, right? Because Burrow played really well. The defense did not look great. T. Higgins missed time, and Miles Murphy disappeared. And that really felt like last year in a lot of ways. So much that I even had to watch Tanner Hudson just come over to the autograph line just to make sure he didn't fumble that Sharpie on the 1 yard line. So
yeah,
otherwise I would have thought it was in the Matrix or something like that. But no, he was able to successfully pull that off. And it was good to see a nice Burrow bounce back today, though. That was fun to watch from where I was up in the stands.
You knew it was coming.
Yeah. I mean, if there was anything that you knew, the moment you saw how pissed off he was in the post game interview with us, I guess, or post practice, I should say, on Wednesday, you knew, oh, he's going to come out. And immediately it was first play. He was going to T. He was trying to go at Cam Taylor-Britt, and they did multiple times. Cam Taylor-Britt, he might be a part of this story here too, because he was frustrating T. Higgins. I mean, he was making plays. He was ripping the ball, getting PBUs, staying physical. It's kind of built on, I feel like, Charlie, we talked about this at a couple different spots here in podcasts now, but like he picked up where he left off in OTAs, where you just see that confidence coming back in him and him feeling like he's playing like the type of corner that he wants to be right now.
I wrote about him today, called him the most interesting guy in camp. I'm telling you, like, the defensive coordinator transition has been more helpful for Cam than maybe any other individual player on the Bengals. Cam spoke a lot about a fresh start. I also think there's a football element to this, the vibe we get that, one, it's going to be a more matchup-driven usage of the corners. Two, it's going to be maybe more man-oriented than what the Bengals have done in the past. And then giving leeway to be more aggressive because of the focus on ball production and takeaways that we're seeing, maybe selling out for those a little more. Well, that is Cam Taylor-Britt's elite skill. So a lot of what Cam does best fits Al. I think, again, the opportunity to have a fresh start really helps Cam. And his teammates kind of see it too. Like, I think Cam is one of the emerging leaders that you've seen kind of on the field, kind of in the middle of things through the first week of camp.
Juice.
Yeah.
That's it. He brings it. And there are certainly energy guys out there, but he brings it more than anybody. And that defense needs that. They need somebody to feed off of right now, whether that's part of the leadership or not. Sorry, Jay, go ahead.
No, I was just going to say there was a play right in front of Charlie and I during practice where Burrow threw a fade to T. Cam had great coverage. Perfect throw by Burrow. Really nice catch by T. And, Cam gives up a big play. And instead of pouting or trash talk, he just clapped and applauded, like, good catch, good play. He seems comfortable and confident. And I agree with Charlie. It was kind of a love-hate relationship between him and Lou, where there was a lot of respect there, but there was a lot of tension and frustration too. And I feel like, I kind of asked Jamar about playing in camp this year with the contract behind him. It feels like a weight has been lifted off of him. And I feel like the D coordinator change, like Charlie said, just has kind of lifted a weight off of Cam.
And it's unspoken, but it kind of is understood. It might as well be spoken at this point. If Cam has a big year, he's going to make $50-60 million next season. Like, he's playing for that. And he's the ability to play himself onto that stage. So can he get there? He's got a long, long way to go, just like this entire defense. But the stakes are there.
I just think they made a big bet on this secondary. And we've talked a lot about that this offseason. And the more you see them make play, and I know there's plays that are not so good, obviously. But I just think you're seeing some of the guys show what it's supposed to look like at this time of year if they do break out and if they do come together. And I think that's, they're in a good place. They're in a good place that way. I want to touch on one that is something that a player that none of us saw this week and isn't in a fight with management. And that's Noah Fant. I find the Noah Fant charge interesting for a couple of reasons. Isn't this what we're always asking the Bengals to do this time of year? Like, this is what we said was a part of things that they were missing last year when they had opportunities to sign guys to help them in a position group that wasn't quite there or could have used a little depth. And then it came to be that, oh man, it turns out they did need that extra defensive tackle that wasn't Lawrence Guy, right? Or they could have used somebody who was available and you could have taken a shot at and you just didn't. Or you say, oh, we're going to trust the young guy, or we like what we have rather than try to go for the upgrade because maybe it's a little expensive or whatever. They brought Noah Fant in for a visit. I think they see an opportunity for him to bring something that they don't already have. And they're pursuing it aggressively. And I think there's a chance that it happens. And that is what you want them to be doing, right? The idea that this is like taking away from them signing Hendrickson or anything is not true, right? That's not what this is. This is them doing what you need, that winning teams do. Teams that make runs have a guy that they signed in July or August that comes in and they took advantage of him and he took advantage of the change of scenery and has an impact for a month in the middle of the season when they need him, or late in the year or in a playoff game. Like, that's what you need. And Noah Fant, how often do productive, 27, 28-year-old athletic former first-round pick tight ends become available? I mean, say whatever you want. I mean, he's not a nobody. And so if you're bringing him in and he can give you an upgrade over Tanner Hudson, Mark would take that, right?
I would take that for sure. for sure.
There's no doubt. But if even if that's the lowest role with an obviously a possibility to be more, that's worthwhile. That's worth spending on. Those are the types of moves that they need to be doing more of this time of year. And to see somebody get released and go for it, I think is meaningful. And I think it can make it. The one thing that I think they can get that they don't have is the run after catch. They're really good at scheming tight ends open, throwing them check downs. They talk about they can get anybody can come in here and get 500 yards as a tight end from Joe Burrow in this offense, right?
Mm-hmm.
That's like their old line. Well, that's because they scheme guys open. They get catches underneath. If you bring in a guy who is his skill, his number one skill is run after the catch as a tight end, that's now a weapon. And I think if you can find ways to utilize that, he's not going to be Eric All. He's not a blocker like that. He's not. He's a little redundant with those other guys in that he's not a great blocker. Drew Sample's going to have to do all that stuff, but he is better than all of them at catching the ball and running with it afterwards. And I think that's real interesting. And I think it's a productive thing for them to be doing, and it should be encouraging that they're out here trying to make Noah Fant happen.
Speaking of adding somebody late in the process and a big difference maker, 2021, trading for BJ Hill right before the season starts.
Yeah.
BJ Hill with arguably one of the biggest plays in the AFC Championship game, the interception that got him to the Super Bowl. I mean, those guys can be difference makers. And I agree with you. And by putting Trey on the did not report list, it's the reserve did not report list. So they now have an open roster spot. They have room to add a guy like that. And it does. It makes all the sense. And I don't know what the holdup is. It's probably money. Knowing the Bengals, they're probably lowballing him. But it feels like you bring him in and he can kind of be an end line, even though he's not a great blocker, he can be more of an end line guy, and Gesicki can be a true slot receiver and do what he does best. I think it's a really, really intriguing fit.
It's that time of year, so let's talk about the Bengals' approach to the final few roster spots and how they project that heading into the season. I think that in previous years they have been over-reliant on waiver claims. Heck, we always see it like, oh, well, actually, the Bengals submitted 5 claims for 5 guys, and they got 2. And here's KJ Henry. Can KJ Henry be the depth piece that they need to replace Cam Sample? No. Jay Tufele was an obvious example. Max Sharping. I'm forgetting my other September waiver claims. They're Devin Asiasi, a personal favorite.
Yeah.
There you go.
They always just wait till September instead of capitalizing and maximizing on the veteran free agent market available. Taven Bryan did that. Interest in Noah Fant would be checking that box. Heck, even Desmond Ridder. I like Des. I think he's better than Logan Woodside. I think he makes the 90-man roster better. Embracing more churn with your final roster spots to just get better players. That's different, and that's positive.
I'm interested. I mean, I'm interested to see where this ends. I do think they're gonna. I'm sure Noah's going to be looking at all his options and going to want to see what other teams have to say. But it's hard not to have interest in a place where you've had to see the success of the tight end position that they've had here and how he's gotten guys paid. The other thing is, think of it from an injury standpoint. If Jamar goes down, if T goes down, what happens, right? Gesicki steps into a new, bigger receiver role. There's a ripple effect there. Or Yoshvash has to, and some of the stuff that he does that can be a big slot role can be utilized. And there's a big ripple effect from all of not just one guy, not if just one guy gets hurt, where all of a sudden now a Noah Fant can be deployed into those spots and fill in behind people on top of, if you're fully healthy, what he can bring you maybe in a couple of spots. I just think it's what good teams do. And it's the type of stuff that pays off for you over the course of a season based on attrition. Speaking of things that pay off for you, we have to talk about our guy, Eric Stanio from Keller Williams. Real estate, number one real estate YouTube channel in the city. But more than that, he's our guy. He's a Growl Pal. He's a friend. And all he does is Growl Pal sales these days. We had another Growl Pal sale just happened last week. It's going so well. He makes awesome hats. There's new hats that are airy. They're going to be at our live shows. We really like the new hats. Got to shout them out on that.
And aren't the new hats part of the referral program for him too?
They are part of the referral program. Make sure you look into that. We've got that in the show. We'll have that in our show notes. It's in all of our Friday show stuff. You can check out the referral program that Stanio is doing. So you can win that, possibly win Bengals tickets. He just keeps giving. He just continues to give to all the Growl Pals. We love him. If you know someone that's buying or selling a home, make sure you hit them up at Team Stanio. You can do it. Let's see, www.youtube.com/@Team Stanio. Of course, if you want to go check out the YouTube, send him an email. You know all the information by now. He's our guy. So make sure you give him some love. All right. We have a question and a prop that we're going to use. Does everybody have their props ready? Yes.
I do.
Are you off the signings topic already?
Is there something happen?
No, I just thought we were going to talk about the other guy that they could get and get into the Christian Wilkins stuff.
That's true.
You got to save some of that Fant money for Christian Wilkins.
I can give the short answer. There's a short answer here and a long answer here. We'll
do the short answer. That's fine.
The short answer is no, they're not signing Christian Wilkins.
Oh.
I believe the line used by the Raiders in his release was no path to play. I believe
no
was
path
the
to play?
like with this, whatever's happening with this injury that he has, and they're recouping all of this money. So Wilkins, who's let go stunningly by the Raiders, he played 5 games for the Raiders. I mean, it feels like just yesterday we were doing the mock off-season sheet and everyone was spending all the money on Christian Wilkins. He was the answer. He goes to the Raiders. He plays 5 games and makes $49.7 million. It was a 5-year, $110 million deal. They void $35.2 million in guarantees based on the way that he approached the rehab using what? What did they use? Default language. Yes, Johnny. The Bengals have entered the chat. This is so exciting. We can now have Shamar Stewart conversations again. And Shamar Stewart's agent, Zach Hiller, sitting here saying, this is what I've been yelling about. This is why I've been mad. I don't want this to happen to my guy. And point out that this is the type of thing that can happen. There has been a grievance with the PA, and there are many lawyers that will be involved, and this will not be settled anytime soon. But notable that showed up here.
Do you know who Kristen Wilkins' agent is that negotiated that contract?
David Mulugeta.
Yes. That's another reason he is not going to be signed.
Was also part of the reason why we knew he wasn't coming to Cincinnati in the first place.
All right, now we can get to that run passer boot that we were excited about.
Fire it up for me.
All right, so we do have some good questions already from the chat, so we'll get to those shortly. But before we do that, we still had some emails this week to the growlerpodcast@gmail.com. This was a good one. This was from Brady. It's a run passer boot. So we'll throw this out and you guys can think about your answers and then we will do that. So run passer boot, the following 3 players having a successful NFL career: Miles Murphy, Shamar Stewart, Jermaine Burton.
How about on the count of 3, we hold up our props? Are you ready? 1, 2, 3.
Oh,
I can't
read
see.
mine.
I can't see Jay's.
What do we
That's
got?
by
Say it.
design.
Here.
He just held up a
I see
blank piece of
Stuart.
paper.
Stuart from Mark. I
Stewart,
have
3
Murphy.
Stewarts.
3
What a surprise.
Stewarts. I'm the lone Murphy. I believe.
I wanted to draw a shrug emoji, but I can't draw, so I just went with Shamar Stewart.
Shamar Stewart is the answer, huh?
I can't believe that you. Well, I will say this for your Murphy pick today. I was watching the D line a lot, and I found myself like Murphy was popping a lot during the drills, and I was like, man, maybe this guy is poised for a big season. Like I found myself starting to go down that path. So I guess I'm not super shocked that you went Murphy.
I can't. I just need to double and triple and quadruple down until it comes. I only
Never
have
wrong,
one out.
just early.
That's right. That's right. I only have one out, and I'm sticking with it. Why Stewart, Charlie?
I think that there is I think the word physicality gets overused, but just an edge and an aggression with the way he establishes himself at the line of scrimmage is something the defensive line lacks, plus a versatility that can create pathways to get him onto the field. I think that just raises the floor. I think that gives him more of a pathway to a role week 1 if it all works out, which Murphy didn't have. He didn't have a role week 1. I think he is an easier way to kind of get on that track. Plus, I mean, they're at a similar place from an instincts finishing perspective. So Stewart maybe has more time to develop and more time on task and more reps to develop that.
He's the only one on the list that hasn't had a disappointing NFL season.
Yeah.
The potential is just so intriguing there, and you don't want to lock in and say it's never going to happen for Myles Murphy, but we've seen 2 seasons, and you want to believe that Jermaine's in a better headspace now, and you want the best for him, but once trust like that's broken, it's hard to rebuild, and that you're always kind of waiting for the next misstep. So I just and we didn't say best Bengals career, we said best career. So there again, just Shamar just not seeing the downside yet. It's just he's still a fresh first-round pick. There's a lot of potential and a lot of hope, contract issues aside.
Yeah, I think that's kind of what I came to too, is that just the other 2 guys, it's by default almost. If Myles Murphy was going to be that guy, I feel like we would have seen a few more signs of that by now. And Jermaine Burton, even if I still think he can be a successful NFL player, but there always is that risk with some of that stuff, that those habits coming back or whatever. I mean, even if he goes to a different city, they've got slot machines everywhere. So that could always be a problem for him down the line. So that's what Stewart felt safer to me among those 3.
I will say this, everybody's going to keep getting their jokes off about Jermaine Burton, and I have plenty of them still remaining and have fired off plenty, and I'm still doubting. He had a really nice back shoulder today, and it was one of those.
He pushed off too.
Did he? I didn't see that part.
It was OPI
angle. I couldn't see a push, but regardless, it was a nice play. It was Burrow. I've written about it. I am talked too much about it. Probably the trust throw, the back shoulder trust, developing that with Burrow for him to be willing to do that and pull it off, push off or not, with Jermaine Burton here in the second camp practice stood out to me. And, it's not that the guy can't play. It's not that he can't play. He just needs to be in the right place and doing the right things and build trust with Burrow. If you can complete a back shoulder ball, that's one hell of a way to start building some trust with Joe Burrow. That was certainly noted by in my notebook today. I don't know if it was in yours under the word push off, I guess.
I'm noticing a route tree too, which again, not to pick on him, but his route tree last year was straight.
Yeah.
I'm noticing some diversity there, which is nice. And there's some polish and comfort in different types of routes.
Let's hit the chat, Mark. What do we got?
All right. Let's start with this one. All right, so we got a lot of questions about the D line. So people wanted to hear more about Chris Jenkins, McKinley Jackson, if either of those guys have popped to you guys, and how the DTs are doing overall.
It's really hard to tell till the pads come on when you're talking linemen, particularly in the interior. I did think it was notable today that the run game really did well. They popped a lot of runs, and it wasn't would have been tackled and the guy just kept running. It was getting through holes or bouncing outside. And well, I guess we just have to kind of reserve judgment on that question until we see the pads go on and it gets a little more physical. But, you know, Paul's talked about it. Big year for Chris Jenkins. Taven Bryan's been running in with the twos. There's no BJ Hill right now, so there's plenty of reps for those guys to get on the field.
Prediction: McKinley Jackson plays more snaps than Chris Jenkins
On the season. Yeah, that wouldn't be great. I mean, that.
Or it could be. I like McKinley too.
Why do you? It could be. But I think they need Chris more than they need McKinley due to Slayton's presence. But why do you?
Part of it is. All right, we haven't seen it. Chris was coming off the injury last year. What did he really get to show? I don't see the path to consistent pass rush productivity to make that more than a run-stopping role. And obviously, McKinley would be more run-oriented, especially for a team that will play fewer 5 down, more 4 down, or I get another bigger body in there. I just think McKinley is dynamic in a way that you would assume Chris is, that we just haven't seen yet. And all right, Chris was coming off injury last year, but so was McKinley. We didn't even see him moving around at his full speed because of the knee. I see more twitch and dynamic and upside, and then also floor against the run that Jenkins doesn't outweigh with the pass rush value that, again, he didn't show last year, probably due to injury, but I am probably the low guy on Chris Jenkins Jr.
And if they get Stewart and Hendrickson in here, then because you figure McKinley's not going to be on the field on 3rd down a lot, well, Chris Jenkins could be coming off the field on 3rd down as well if they're kicking Osai in or Murphy or Shamar. So it's not a crazy take to think.
Are we ready for another one?
Yeah.
A lot of questions about the secondary, and people want to know about Dax Hill. But overall, how optimistic should we be about the secondary under Al Golden's watch?
This is a question about you, CJD22K. What kind of person are you? Are you an optimistic type? Are you an optimistic sort? Because if you are, then the glass is half full. They're young guys. You've seen a lot of flashes. Al Golden can get them going. You'll see them have moments out there. There's a lot to like. They've got big personalities. They seem hungry. They seem happy. Or you could have seen them play in the past. And you're like, we've seen bad there. We've seen the benchings. We've seen them get burnt. We've seen them get frustrated over the course of long seasons and be up and down. I get both sides. You can see both paths. I think that this is an ultimate, be as optimistic as you want to. The Bengals like the bet. The Bengals are betting on the players and that they know how to have somebody here that can know how to get it out of them. And that's an optimistic view, I think, on their point. But that's where they're at with it. I think we'll all learn together. There's a lot to like. Like there is a lot to like. And I understand why they did it. And I understand, I believe Al Golden. When he says the first thing I thought when I got this job, when I watched every game, was there's a lot of talent here with these corners and with this secondary. I like him. And he said when he got into the OTA program, that's what he saw. He saw a bunch of talent there, and he back confirmed everything that he thought. How did they act? They didn't add a soul back there because they liked what they saw. They like what they have. You are trusting Al Golden here, along with the personnel department, who's obviously going to sit there and say, yeah, we know they're good. And they're going to trust that pans out. And that's their optimistic view. And at a certain point, you have to trust Al Golden that way.
And it's, Fig aside, it's not like it's a bunch of day 3 picks that they're just hoping and praying can turn into something. I mean, you're talking about 1st and 2nd round guys. Gino was an undrafted guy, but he's proven it in this league. They've all had flashes, and it's the consistency thing and it's the development thing. And that's why it's less about the scheme with Al. It is about getting the best out of these guys. They're still young players, developing them, getting them to kind of come together as a cohesive unit. And I'm an optimistic guy by nature anyhow, but I do I lean way more toward the optimistic side when it comes to that group than I do the pessimistic side.
I mentioned this earlier. I'm not even giving an initial stance on this defense until October. I feel kind of burned by years past where, I really mean this, and I believe in Dax Hill as a cornerback. Man, Dax Hill was a Pro Bowl, borderline all-pro training camp safety. Von Bell fixed the defense last year in training camp. When you look at especially the fact that this defense, we need to know if they can tackle. We need to know if they can adjust in games because they de-adjusted in games last season. And we need to know matchup specific, how they adjust, how they counter, how they match personnel from a who guard to that kind of thing. And you're just facing Jamar and T now. Like, I need to know those three things, and you won't get any of that sample size in training camp or even really in the preseason. So I'm just, saying I don't know until September, October, because again, I feel burned by a defense that made that ruined Anthony Richardson last August, but that didn't matter. Like, I'm just kind of done with that game because of how unproven this whole thing is, even though they've had some nice camps in the past.
You also need to, you could have improvement in the secondary and have no pass rush, and they'll look like the secondary is getting exposed, and they'll lose confidence, and it can spiral on you because no one's getting home. And so it's like you need it all to work together, and there's questions everywhere. Everywhere. So we'll see how it all plays out. What else? Let's get to a couple more in the chat, and we can get close to wrapping up here in a minute.
All right. This one is from Mark. He says, saw Paul had a white t-shirt under the golf shirt. Is that a new trend or just an old man look from you?
No, I'm not a white t-shirt under the golf shirt guy like ever, except when it's going to be 105 heat index and I had a white shirt. I didn't want to wear dark colors. I was really confused today. I'm glad somebody brought this up because I really had a tough moment where I was like, I guess I only have one move. I got to go back to the t-shirt under the polo, which I don't think I've done in forever, but I think I got to do it because I don't want to be sweating into my white shirt, but then I don't want to be in a dark color. I was really confounded this morning, and thanks for noticing. I saw somebody, it was a comment in the Twitter driving video I put up this morning. Someone just says, you're bearing the lead, new shirt. It was a new shirt, and I really wanted to wear it. Okay, so thank you for noticing, whoever you were. I appreciate all of you out there.
I like that you're doing videos while you're driving now. You should just keep increasing the danger to all of your content each day of
roller
camp.
coasters are next. I'm going to do one from the Beast with Jay in front of me throwing salt packets in my
They do frown on you pulling your phone out on rides.
It's true. Thanks, Jay.
Yeah.
There's a warning system. They'll take it from you. They'll stop the ride. I heard. Yeah.
I bet you did not.
I did have my talking about practice shirt on today. I thought it was perfect for the live stream. I put it on for you. Nobody's mentioning that.
I bet you did not think you wouldn't be the member of the media taking strays for your fashion choices today. Like that's probably not what you saw coming down your path.
My shirt was not the talk of the town, thankfully, just to a few. Just to a few.
I was going to do a bit that I didn't get the talking about practice reference, but that would have just been a bit that would have not been real. But I thought it would have been funny if I pretended that I didn't know that rant.
Yeah, but you do.
I do.
Are you a Ted Lasso guy, Charlie?
No, so the Reds in 2021 did the whole Ted Lasso. Votto was pointing to us, whatever. So it was like, all right, I just have to read everything about Ted Lasso right now. So I just read the Wikipedia summary of the show. And so I get it because I had, all right, what are the Reds talking about? So I get it, but I then didn't need to watch the show because I just read the Wikipedia on the show.
Great recreation of the Iverson press conference that is involved in Ted Lasso.
Yes.
Just so you know. What do we got here, Mark?
Some people wanted to know if you guys had any additional first-person perspective on the banana activity today.
Okay, let's do it.
Fashion.
Are we going to go banana? So for those of you that don't know, I have shout out to our guy, James Rapine at Locked On, put together a video of it. There's a couple of them circulating out there if you really want to go look. I have one here. So if you don't know what it is, our guy, Trags, Mike Petralia, he does this. He did this last year where early in camp, he will wear this banana shirt. It's not just a banana shirt that has bananas all over it. He wears it with a couple buttons unbuttoned, usually on a hot day, shows off some chest hair. And he added a hat this year, which really was a lot of bananas. And so you end up with him sitting truly as front and center as you can in the press conference room in front of Jamar Chase. And about like 3 or 4 questions were asked by others until Trags asked a question. And then Jamar Chase, how do you not have a reaction? And this is what ensued.
Can I say something about your outfit, though? You got a lot of bananas on.
Would you rock that? Would you?
I would not put on that many bananas. I mean, you must be a banana guy, I'm assuming, right? Okay.
Ask him where you bought it from.
A supermarket. Kroger.
No, you didn't.
Yes, I did. Yes, I did. Did you know that people shop there?
Oh, didn't I? Hey, man, if you like it, I love it, bro. Just go ahead, go ahead.
Be cool on a day like.
Back to your question, though. I'm about to say it was a lot going on when I looked at you because I've been seeing it. I just didn't want to say nothing right away.
Unbelievable. I just think pointing out you have a lot of bananas. I love pointing it out. Just be very clear. I don't know if I'd wear a shirt with that many bananas. How did we miss this opportunity? How many bananas, Jamar, would you wear on a shirt?
Yes.
He suggested that he would wear a shirt with some bananas on them, but just not that many. And I want to know what that number is. So the follow-up next time we talk to him, I think we have an important one.
I would like to take a little bit of credit for this because I don't know how many people Trags talked to about it, but he said he wasn't going to wear the hat into the press conference. He said it was too much. And I said, no, you need to. And I think that's what set it off. I don't know if Jamar would have, if it was just the shirt, I don't know if Jamar would have called it out. And also, this is as banana as I get my Savannah bananas. I did plan my outfit tonight as well.
Well done. That's well done. I appreciated it. It was fun. I love how, Jamar, he just kept trying to get it back together, and every time he would look down and catch Trag's eye and just lose it again. And I just appreciate it. It was a very natural moment. I hopefully I'm not going to forget that one for a while. That was pretty hysterical. All right. What else we got? Do we want to wrap it up on that one, Mark?
We can. Or
is there anything else out there that we should make sure we get to?
We're getting more questions about Fant. People want to know if he left town without a deal. I don't know where things stand. I mean, obviously
there is no deal. There's no deal done. He has not left town, I do not believe. But
and there's more fashion feedback.
From Austin.
Oh, good.
Yeah, Jay looking like Aaron Simmons with the visor.
We need to get Austin in here. If he's in here, we need to just pull him into the room, into the convo. I don't know. I mean, he doesn't spend enough time in front of a microphone. I don't think. Yeah. Hardest working man in show business. Love it. All right. I want to thank everybody that popped in. If you like these, if you want us to keep doing more of these, please let us know. Drop us emails, thegrowlerpodcast@gmail.com, or tell us on any of the social outlets. Make sure you're following on social everywhere, not just the four of us, definitely the four of us, but also the Growler Podcast. We're on TikTok. We're on Instagram. We're everywhere. And make sure you're checking out Power Stacks. New episode up right now. Charlie and Brian.
I've planted my
rotation.
I've planted my trade deadline flag. The Reds don't just need one Nick Martinez; they need two.
Oh, wow! What can I bug you for some
Eugenio
Suarez thoughts while we're here? I mean, you're here. There's a new episode of Power Stacks up. I don't know if you guys talk about the Suarez. My good friend C. Trent noted that both sides were interested. I'm sure a lot of people are interested in Suarez. Where are you at with that? What do we think this is that plan A in your mind?
Are the Reds interested in Suarez? Of course. And part of moving Marte to the outfield, and I was told, was to give themselves the flexibility to keep third base on the table. at the trade deadline. Now, you know who needs who needs Suarez 10 times more than the Reds? That would be the Yankees. That would be the Mets. That would be the Cubs. And that would be the Mariners, all of whom are in a much more position to be aggressive. And there seems to be a lot of Mariners chatter as well. What the Diamondbacks need is pitching, and the Mariners develop pitching like the Eagles develop offensive linemen. So there are hurdles there. I also know the Reds won't trade top prospects this season. So there's an ultimate tapping out point. But yeah, they'd love to have Suarez, of course.
All right. Trade deadline is almost here. Trade deadline.
It just started. Yeah. Well, like
trade deadline of Palooza
is
is still up. You can go. That all is still relevant as it was the day it posted. Make sure you go and listen to the whole trade deadline of Palooza episode. But first, check out tonight's. It's up on the Power Stacks YouTube channel. Make sure you go and give that a listen. But yeah, we'll have more Who Dey Nights coming your way throughout camp, throughout the season. Of course, make sure you're subscribed to the YouTube page here though, and get the alerts, because Jay and I will have our camp recaps coming up every day after training camp practices. So make sure you're getting those so they can come right to you. Otherwise, Charlie, I hate to hear that you don't believe in sunscreen. It was a bold take to open with tonight. Maybe we should try some different sunscreens. I can bring in some sprays, some tubes.
That'd be a funny podcast bit. Charlie tries a different
we can do it
every day.
Yeah, why not? I think we can do that for you tomorrow. But either way, it was still great having everybody here. And have a good one. And we'll talk to you all tomorrow. Later.